welcome back to the Business Spotlight. Today I've got Mike Muhney. Mike is the co-inventor of the software ACT from a while back. I guess it still exists, and he sold that company years ago, and now he is the founder of VIPorbit. We're talking about how do you manage your orbits. When I look at what you're doing, Mike, what's unique and special about VIPorbit for professionals?
Well, let's go back to the ACT era, if you will, in a laptop-only era. And people weren't walking around 24/7 with laptops. They were purely business-focused from that regard, right? But in today's world, it's completely different. We have a device with us, most of us do, 24/7. Therefore, I'm not constrained by the business aspects only, but also now my personal life, meaning my entire life. Orbits, the definition of an orbit, beyond the celestial, is a person's sphere of resource, influence, and activity. Who doesn't want that? And who doesn't have that and want more of it? Okay, I do. I'm no different than everybody else. So the way VIPorbit came about is I wanted something that accommodated both personal and business aspects. Focus on business, but accommodated the personal. CRM truly is really only business, right? And it's company controlled, but I have a device, I want to be in control. So an orbit can be anything you want. I have an orbit of golfing buddies. I have an orbit of strategic alliances. I have an orbit of everybody in the media that I know. I have my board of directors. I have my investors. I have anything and everything I want. I have a family orbit. And a person can be in unlimited orbits. Think about that. I mean, Patrick, you're in my media orbit. You're in my DFW orbit. We've encountered each other at Entrepreneurs, so I have an entrepreneur's orbit. You could be in my golfing buddies orbit. But it's not just putting you in a category. So far, so good, but I'm going to put it on steroids. And the steroids is that on my phone and my iPad and Mac, but on the phone being a phone, I can do a group text of everybody in that orbit, and everybody gets it, but everybody gets it as an individual.
Nice.
If I say send group email on any of the three devices, it sends an email to everybody, but you get it as an individual. You think that I sent it personally to you, which increases my odds of you responding, right? So that we can engage, and that's what's important here. Simultaneously and automatically, it archives in everybody's history file that event occurred, so I have a curated, chronologically, most recent through the oldest, capability to reignite my knowledge of everything I've done with and for you, on demand, with me at all times.
One of the cool things I see about it is, you know, a lot of people think, well, I don't know that many people. I go, okay, really? You can look at your own cell phone and see who you're calling, who's calling you, and you can create orbits from within there. You have orbits already. This is just basically creating a tool to enhance those. Isn't that what you're saying?
Yeah. You know, it's the most agile means by which I can manage my contacts and calendars and communications. I mean, that's really the bottom line of what it does, because I've got to squeeze more out of my day than anybody else. Everybody sells, Patrick. I've always believed that everybody sells.
I believe.
You may do architecture, you may do dentistry, you may do law, but there are competitors to you, which means why should I select you as my architect? Sell me on your services and abilities, right? Well, selling is a numbers game, and so the more balls in the air, the old saying goes, that I can throw up there and deal with, I'm going to have more dropping, and I'm going to get more business out of that. So I need to deal with more quantitatively without ever sacrificing the quality of the individual personal relationship that I want sustained. I'm not just after your business. I'm after a sustainable relationship. And let me mention one other thing. I never go into an opening of an introduction of a relationship, however that occurs, thinking a prospective customer.
Right.
Okay? Because chances are you're not going to become one. I mean, think of everybody in the whole world. And everybody becomes a customer, but the mentality is to turn you into one. I go into an introduction and think, I wonder if this is a kind of relationship where we could be friends. And so my actions, my words, my demeanor is geared toward creating a likability factor toward me, where maybe we do become friends. If we don't, and it goes down from there to a customer level only, because you don't want to be friends, that's fine. But I start at a very high level, and that's how I treat people, because again, my cornerstone is people matter. And the tools that I've designed and built, and of course my teams and all that are the ones behind me that are helping do this and enliven this vision, is to bring that to reality, where you show and demonstrate that people matter.
Well, I think it's so critical too to realize that you can touch so many so easily. I mean, and if it looks like and feels like an individual touch, well, unless you're so close to your inner circle or closest orbit to know what you're doing, honestly, it's just a warm fuzzy that you're able to touch somebody and you're able to nurture that relationship to another level, And don't you find that that's the one aspect that most people are missing right now anyways? Isn't the whole social media outcry to try to communicate with others?
Social media has enabled mass communication effortlessly. That's wonderful. But people don't take it further in many cases and become accepting of the attitude that, well, everybody knows what's going on. I'm staying in touch. I have relationship management, but it's only that deep. Science has proven that there are 4 elements to a real relationship: time, intensity, trust, and reciprocity. And social media doesn't apply to all of those at all times by most users. Okay, so those who understand you have to go deeper to separate yourself, understand the reason for VIPorbit and ACT.
This is a Business Spotlight. We've got more coming with Mike Muhney right after this.